Good evening, everyone. Anthony Wall Street Trader. It's 8:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 15, 2023. Here to talk about Filecoin. This is not financial advice, it's educational. Click the subscribe, the bell, share the video, click the thumbs up. Intraday updates are on Twitter at Wall Street Tra 12. Let's move forward. Okay, if you have any cryptos or stocks you want covered on subsequent videos, I'll do my best to get to them. Please make sure that they have reasonable volume to do any kind of natural technical analysis on it, and stick those comments below the video. You got to be on YouTube, so be there or be square. In the meantime, let's go over to Filecoin. Quick background: Filecoin, decentralized peer-to-peer network. They don't use Ethereum. There's no ERC relation here. They do have a bridge. If you want to do something over Ethereum, they've got all sorts of little bridges and adapters and whatnot that make it work. But the reality is they don't really need it. And they have a whole data network or data storage network that sits across multiple nodes in a decentralized environment. So if you look at the features, I'll tell you right now, if any of these features are not out there, I wouldn't even be doing the video on them. Scalability, cheapness, and safer. I mean, isn't that what every single new crypto should have these days for sure? So obviously they have all three features. So I basically take a file, I put it out there. No one can hack me. No one knows if someone wants to come after me and try to find my files and I have them on Filecoin. Well, good luck trying to find it. And that's where the safer part comes in. It's pretty easy to go find you on Dropbox, iCloud, and Google Docs. These are centralized cloud storage solutions. They can be hacked. You really can't do that with Filecoin. The other nice thing is on the cheaper and the scalable. Look, here's the deal. If I have machines that are sitting there doing absolutely bupkis, if for example, we used to call vulture computing back in the day. Like people would come in from 9 to 5, they'd leave. So after 5 o'clock to the next morning at 8 o'clock, there'd actually be no utilization on the machinery. That's where we called it vulture computing. So we would be able to run lots of overnight processes that don't have to sit in a data center. We would just use these machines. Well, it's very similar to how these guys are implemented Filecoin. They leverage people to do the work on people who stake their coin on their machines, and their machines are the storage centers. So you'd have no idea where these storage centers are. And that's the beauty of Filecoin. It's completely decentralized. No one knows where your stuff is. It makes it cheaper. It's got all the things you want. Now, a few other notables. If you have had your head in the sand in 2022, there has been a plethora of things that have happened to Filecoin. Number one, they're partnering with Lockheed Martin. LMT is the ticker on the New York Stock Exchange. They're trying to create a planetary, they're trying to use IPFS more in space. So if you are an astronaut floating around in the ether, you can go and access your files. I mean, this is pretty crazy. In fact, you could potentially, access your files from here in Earth, and your files could be floating around in space somewhere. Anyway, lots and lots and lots of real cool stuff that they're doing with Lockheed Martin. Of course, a lot of it's under the hush because Lockheed Martin is a U.S. government contractor, so who knows what's going on there. On the second point is around helping Harvard University with a digital information, trying to do some protection capabilities around digital information. So helping store it, lock it away, keep it protected, all of that. So that's exactly what Filecoin is doing with Harvard. In fact, on the third point, Polygon and Filecoin are integrating into metaverse and NFT spaces. Just another one of those collaborations. Now let's go over to looking at their economics here. So they're about, let's see, their market cap's around 1.7 billion dollars of market cap for Filecoin. So they have already hit their maximum fully diluted market cap. So there's no other supply to come out. So that's good news. If you're an investor, you have no dilution in the wings. So why don't we look over at the ecosystem really quickly? And just one quick last deep dive here is, you can go to this ecosystem.filecoin.io and see other little things they've got going on. I think I saw in here not too long before this video. I think I saw it. Let's see if I can still find it. But Opera was on here. There it is. Opera, which is that web browser. They have that there. They have other things in here like Live Peer as well. So they're working with a couple of major ones here, MetaMask. Some names I actually know because a lot of the most of these other ones I don't. And typically, many of these ecosystems that many of these other Web3 technologies have, they're just starting out types of projects. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go straight into the market. As you already know, if you've watched these videos before, Filecoin is equal to the inner strength multiplied by the benchmark. Filecoin in dollars, because I'm a U.S. citizen, I buy my Filecoin in dollars. If you go over here, this is really Filecoin to Bitcoin, and this really tells me the strength. It's a crypto to a crypto, and this is the only pair that compares a crypto to a crypto. Why do I compare it to Bitcoin? Because it's a benchmark, and plus there's plenty of ways to easily get between Filecoin and Bitcoin. So this Filecoin to Bitcoin pair is what I call the inner strength of Filecoin compared to the benchmark, which is Bitcoin. And the math works out at the bottom. So, know this formula. And the most important thing is not just to look at this. Don't just look at US dollar, Filecoin to US dollar. Look at Filecoin to Bitcoin and Bitcoin to US dollar. Kind of get you validated. If you think Filecoin US dollar is going to go up, well, check each one of these just for validation. Anyway, let's move into the market, take a look at Filecoin US dollar. It looks like, and I haven't done one since, God, it's been a year and a half since I've done any videos on Filecoin. If I did one, I think I was actually working more on storage, but neither here nor there. We're at 478 right now, and this has been a long line from September of 2021 all the way down, and we finally broke it. So I'm just going to flip this green because it's nice to see a little bit of green on this terribly red graph here. But the most important thing is that we get over here. So this was an area of current support, now resistance. Now we got below here back in November. Looks like we're trying to make our way up. Now, how would I know if we're going to go up or not? Well, let's just go back to what I just said. Let's take a look at this here. Let's look at the inner strength of Filecoin. Filecoin relative to Bitcoin. So let's go over this way. Let's go take a look at File to Bitcoin. Now, this was here once resistance back here in April of 2021. Sorry, this was once support. It has now flipped over into resistance on the way down. And this is important because this also shows me that we're still under resistance here. We have not yet broken through as we have necessarily over this line over here. So we want to see this thing pop up, and if and when we do pop up, then I would say, we're on a course for higher. So, we have to wait for confirmation. At least for me, we're at 22,494 right now. We'd have to get to like 25 for me to feel more comfortable with this pair. And even over there, you might see some resistance. So we've got a little wood to chop in my view. But, it's not to say we're too far away from that point. I'd say 24 to 24 and a half is about right. And if I zoom in a little more, you can see here, right about there would be where I'd feel much more comfortable getting involved. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to keep my eyes open on this one because I want to see a proper valiant recovery. This thing's already done quite a bit of, quite a bounce. It's almost double in a very short period of time. So you can't really dispute the fact that, it hasn't done well. But at the same time, I need to see this thing to return to normal. We get over this red line, it seems like a better, more favorable entry point because you've confirmed it, and that's how I roll. In the meantime, let's look over at Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, geez, what just happened? I mean, I just turned my eyes away from the screen and look at that. Wow. All right. Well, there we go. So now we're definitely looking like we're up for the next leg. On a few videos before, I've talked about us getting up as high as 22, 23. And on the last video on a different crypto pair I cover, we were talking about getting over this line. So we get over 22, 23 right here. The next stop is 29 to 30. And that's what we want to see, this continued progress here. This will at least help move Filecoin. Not because of File Bitcoin, but because of Bitcoin itself. And again, back over here, if this one does better than this one, but they're both going up, that's great for Filecoin. If this one does nothing, if inner strength does nothing, and the benchmark goes up, well, Filecoin will go up as well. But ideally, you want the inner strength to go up along with the benchmark, um, just because it makes both of them additive into the Filecoin upside. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. I feel very confident about the technology. Just in terms of timing, I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I want to see a little more on the File Bitcoin pair, see that pop up a little more, and of course, this pop up a bit over that red line. That would be more of a confirmation for me. But right now, I mean, with all else being equal, I mean, Bitcoin itself is going to pull Filecoin up, as you can see right over here. You know, very little contribution from Filecoin to Bitcoin. The price of Filecoin US dollar is getting driven almost entirely by Bitcoin itself right now. Anyway, hope everyone's having a good night. Take care.